Hi, welcome to Andrew McAfee Music. Today we're going to talk about how to feel ninelets. So I've noticed that a lot of my students really struggle to feel the pulse while they play ninelets. I mean, they just kind of know how to approximate it and they just kind of throw their hands at the drum and hope that it lines up. Now, the way that I use to kind of help them feel the ninelets better is not really a new concept. If you think about when you first learned 16th notes, they probably weren't super even. But as you started to learn more of the rhythms that just use some of the 16th notes, then you started to develop a better feel for it, and then eventually your 16th notes got really, really comfortable. Well, this is the same concept, but with ninelets. So, in case you're not familiar, a ninelet is basically a triplet on a triplet. It's the inception of triplets. This exercise just starts with a quarter note triplet, and then you go through each note of that quarter note triplet and you fill in an added triplet on top of that. So on the first one you get 1 pull-it 3, and then you add a triplet on the first note, 1 pull-it 3. So I'm going to play this first exercise, the preliminary exercise, for you right now. So now this isn't usually what a ninelet looks like when you see it in music. Usually when you see a ninelet, it ends up looking like this. All right, so that one's just kind of the first step. And of course, I started that off the right hand and then I continued with alternating stickings the whole time. But you should also practice that starting with the left hand and just continuing alternating stickings the whole time. Now, if you're having trouble feeling that, what you can always do is you can set the metronome to actually playing quarter note triplets. And you can do this one of two ways. One way, you take your tempo, you divide by 2, and then multiply by 3. So right now we're at 120. So if we divide by 2, then multiply by 3, we end up setting the metronome at 180. But what I'm going to do right now is I'm just going to divide by 2 and then turn on triplets. So this is going to be 60 beats per minute with triplets on, and that'll sound like quarter note triplets. So with that, it almost feels like we're just in 6/4 and we're just playing quarter notes and triplets. So if you're already comfortable with quarter notes and triplets, which I recommend you should be before you start learning ninelets, then this is going to be a piece of cake. Then the next thing you do is you take out the subdivisions. So if you're in 180, you just set it to beep once every 3 beats, or you just turn it down to 60, beeping once every beat. So now the metronome's just playing beats 1 and 3. Then when you're comfortable with that, you can add the 8th note on there, and then you'll still hear an emphasis on 1 and 3, but then you'll actually hear where 2 and 4 line up. And then last but not least, you can set it back to 120 or whatever your tempo is, and you should be pretty comfortable by then. All right, so then the next step of this is to not practice it in such an isolated fashion. Right now I'm stopping after every checkpoint. So then the next thing is just to make the quarter note triplets last an entire bar, and then let these breakdown rhythms also last an entire bar. So the whole thing is seamless, no stops at all. So that will sound like this. Now, a lot of times in music, you'll see ninelets coming in and out of just regular 8th note triplets. So then we're going to take that same exercise, and instead of playing quarter note triplets, we're going to play eighth note triplets. If you're uncomfortable with this, start with the quarter note triplet metronome, and this will just feel like you're transitioning from eighth notes to triplets. So let's see what that sounds like. Then you can set it back to half notes. Eventually eighth notes, or quarter notes, but with the accent on beats 1, 3. And then eventually just full quarter notes. And when you first start working on this, I would recommend just focusing on how you sound coming from the eighth note triplets into the 9-lit rhythms. But then, as you get more comfortable, then start to really listen to how you sound coming from the 9-lit rhythms into the eighth note triplet rhythms. This one will probably be a little bit messy for a little while. All right, that's all for today. Thank you so much for watching, and please remember, if you enjoyed this video, to leave a comment, hit the thumbs up button, and subscribe here. And once again, I'll be posting new videos. At the moment, if you're watching this in the summer of 2018, I am actually going to be posting about once a week, just because I'm in the middle of band camp season. So there will be a little bit of a dip in how often I post videos. Either way, I'll see you next time. Thank you so much for watching.